I've been pretty hard on congressional Republicans in my recent posts, but I'm questioning if that's still justified. Perhaps things are beginning to change, although Thomas Friedman doesn't think so, nor does James Comey. Click the links in the written blog for their views. We've wondered over and over about which shameless Trump outrage would at last do him in. None has. Not the Access Hollywood grab brag, not the nice people on both sides Charlottesville racism, not the job-killing tariffs, not the attacks on our Justice Department and FBI, not his 6.5 lies per day, not the firing of James Comey specifically because Comey refused to truncate the FBI investigation into Russian hacking of our election and possible Trump campaign collusion. Not the betrayal and abuse of our dreamers, not the attacks on our allies, not the kidnapping of children. No outrage has stopped the runaway Trump train. Now, though, I'm wondering afresh if we've reached a breaking point, and I'm daring to be disappointed yet again. Trump has consistently sided with Putin over our intelligence services regarding Russian hacking. Now, though, the New York Times is reporting that before the inauguration, Trump was fully briefed by our top intelligence agency's leaders about Russian hacking and was even shown intercepted Russian military agents' emails, which show Putin himself was behind the entire effort to subvert our democracy. Still, Trump continues to refuse to forcefully lay blame on Putin and punish him for his wrongdoing, much less take action to protect our 2018 election. Is it possible that congressional Republicans now have something in hand that is so not okay that they'll stop being jellyfish? Well, even some formerly silent Republicans are speaking out. You can read many of their comments via the link in the written post. It's important that you have a look. Congressman Will Hurd, Republican of Texas, wrote an essay you'll want to read. He begins, quote, "Over the course of my career as an undercover officer in the CIA, I saw Russian intelligence manipulate many people. I never thought I would see the day when an American president would be one of them." Close quotes. Newt Gingrich is pushing back, however tepidly, tweeting, quote, "President Trump must clarify his statements in Helsinki on our intelligence system and Putin. It is the most serious mistake of his presidency and must be corrected immediately." Close quotes. Even Speaker of the House Paul Ryan is managing to counter the president and his refusal to accept the undisputed evidence of our intelligence community. Ryan said, quote, "They did interfere in our elections. It's really clear," Ryan told reporters in Washington. Quote, "There should be no doubt about that. Not only did Russia meddle with our elections, they're doing it around the world," he said. "They did it to France. They did it to Moldova. They're doing it to the Baltics. Russia is trying to undermine democracy itself, to delegitimize democracy so for some reason they can look good by comparison." Close quotes. Shifting now to Democrats for one specific point. Having been Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton knows a thing or two about foreign affairs and has a question for Trump. She tweeted, quote, "Great World Cup. Question for President Trump as he meets Putin. Do you know which team you play for?" Close quotes. Great question. Which side do you think Trump plays for? And if you think it's the USA, exactly what evidence can you offer to support your opinion? And no, a MAGA hat doesn't count. It's just a hat. If you'd like to revisit an accurate prediction of what national security would look like with Trump as president, have a look at the video from October 31st, 2016 that's linked in the written post. At least watch 6 minutes, starting about the 14-minute mark. You'll find it an eerily and frighteningly precise description of what's happened since then. It's not as though we weren't warned. Senator Tammy Duckworth, Democrat of Illinois, is on to Trump's cave into Putin and is poking at what's in the back of everyone's mind. Quote, "Donald Trump is wrong. There can be no moral equivalence drawn between the United States of America and Putin's Russia. Today's events are yet another example of Donald Trump's feckless leadership on the world stage. Republicans in Congress cannot continue to turn a blind eye toward the very real possibility that Vladimir Putin has compromised our commander-in-chief and turned him, perhaps without his knowledge, into a Russian asset. Close quotes. Trump is making the world demonstrably more dangerous with his every insult and lie about our friends and allies, and with every suck-up to Putin, Kim Jong-un, and Xi. He is isolating our country and destroying our protections. It is impossible now to avoid the key questions. 1. What does the United States of America get out of Trump's capitulation to Putin and his attacks on our friends? We have some answers to that question, and they aren't pretty. 2. What does Trump himself get out of that? The answers to this question will illuminate all. Have a look at conservative Ross Douthat's take on that via the link in the written blog. If President Obama were selling out America the way Donald Trump is, can you imagine any congressional Republican whose hair would not be on fire? The volume of the outrage would be deafening. The calls for impeachment and imprisonment would be continuous. The thing is, in that scenario, the Republicans would be right. Their indignation would be justified. Their red, white, and blue righteous fury would befit the wrongdoing. But this isn't Obama's malfeasance. It's Trump's. So where is the Republican hair on fire, the outrage, the indignation and righteous fury, and the calls for impeachment and imprisonment? Perhaps they're starting, albeit slowly. Maybe we're hearing the first crack of the breaking point. The Republicans in Congress have both the power and the obligation to take action to stop this treachery, this betrayal of our country. Pray that Trump's sellout of the United States and all of Western democracy is the breaking point for Republicans, and that they at last stand up against Trump's treason. Better yet, call them and demand that they do their job. Trump's deception, his double-dealing, his breach of faith and trust constitute a clear and present danger that threatens America. That is why over the past week, you shifted your attention away from 3,000 kidnapped children. Stay focused, because worse distraction is on the way, and you may be tempted to forget Helsinki by next week. Don't do it, for the sake of our democracy. I'm Jack Alshuler.